She said it under oath. He called it a lie to her face, and Kristi Noem's response just stunned the entire room.
Gentleman's time expired. I now recognize the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Thanedar, for 5 minutes of questions. Please remember to stick to the 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Garbarino and Ranking Member Thompson, for having this hearing today. I know the American people have been demanding answers from this administration on their unlawful actions, so I hope we are able to get some useful answers from our witnesses today. Secretary Noem, this past May, I asked you during a congressional hearing if it was the policy of DHS to follow orders issued by federal courts. You said on the record, and I'm quoting here, "We are following all federal orders." End of your quote. Secretary Noem, you lied to me under oath that day. You lied to the American people, and you have betrayed the trust placed upon you in your role as Secretary of Homeland Security. You defied federal court orders when you refused to order the deportation flights to El Salvador in March to turn around. Federal courts have also found your department to have violated federal injunctions in your continued to send non-citizens on deportation flights, with some courts having called your orders unlawful. Secretary Noem, I just have 3 questions for you. 1, why did you lie under oath by saying DHS was following all federal court orders when they clearly were not?
Congressman.
Question 2, let me finish my questions. Question 2, why did you mislead the American people when you said that no American citizens have been arrested or detained by federal immigration agents? And my last question, number 3, Donald Trump said that your ICE agents haven't gone far enough. Do you think terrorizing American citizens and assaulting peaceful protesters isn't far enough?
Congressman, the Department of Homeland Security and this administration complies with all federal court orders. We always have, and we always will.
Not true.
And we will continue to appeal. And sir, I will even tell you that at the highest court, at the Supreme Court, the Department of Homeland Security in our litigation has an over 90% success rate in winning at the highest court in our battle against activist judges across this country.
Madam Secretary,
we will continue to appeal. And then when it gets to the highest court and we get a decision, it is proven that we are right, that we have been compliant. I will also say,
Madam Secretary, let me.
You want me to answer your questions or not?
I do, but let me. You haven't been telling us the truth. Look, there have been at least 170 known cases of citizens being arrested or detained by federal immigration agents this year alone. This is the truth. Are you lying to the American people right now by denying these reports?
When we are doing our targeted enforcement operations against criminal illegal aliens, individuals that are in that area may be detained until we verify who they are, and then they are released. This has been done for years, and every single law enforcement operation that has always happened, we followed the same protocols, and we continue to do that. We have never once detained or deported an American citizen. We have not held them and charged them. When we find out and verify their identity, then that is when they are released. You also asked about ICE agents going far enough. Sir, I will tell you that every single ICE agent, CBP agent, federal law enforcement officer that's out there doing their work every day, none of them will rest until our communities are safe. None of them will rest until terrorists,
Secretary Noem, it is a fact that you ignored federal orders.
And our children and our grandchildren can grow up.
Let me reclaim my time here, please. Let me reclaim. Secretary Noem, it is a fact that you ignored federal court orders in March and in May of this year. Do you plan on ignoring more federal orders?
I'm
sick of your lies, and the American people demand the truth.
Because you keep saying it doesn't make it true.
I am sick of your lies. The American people are sick of these lies. American people demand truth.
America is very happy that finally they have a president in the White House that gets up every day to keep them safe.
Madam Secretary, your incompetence and your inability to truthfully carry out your duties of Secretary of Homeland Security, if you're not fired, will you resign?
Sir, I will consider your asking me to resign as an endorsement of my work. Thank you very much.
I yield back my time.
Gentleman yields back his time. I'll remind members that they are entitled to ask questions during their time. Witnesses are entitled to answer those questions. Members are entitled to reclaim their time. So we're going to have questions and answers. Please allow it. You can reclaim your time if you want, but witnesses are here voluntarily. Please at least give them a chance to answer the questions that you're asking. I now recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Pfluger, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And it's unfortunate that our colleagues on the other side of the aisle for 5 straight years now have no concern for anything worldwide threats-wise. And I have proven that. We're supposed to be talking about worldwide threats, but unfortunately we're talking about homeland threats in our homeland. And Director Can you just reaffirm the number for us of people that match the terror watch list that are in our country?
There's 18,000 known and suspected terrorists in the country right now that came in under Joe Biden's watch.
18,000.
18,000.
What happened in this hearing wasn't political theater. It was an outright credibility collapse unfolding in real time. When Shri Thanedar directly accused Kristi Noem of lying under oath, it wasn't rhetorical heat. It was a fact-based indictment rooted in court records, documented deportation flights, and federal rulings that contradict her sworn testimony. Thanedar didn't hedge. He didn't soften the language. He reminded the room that Noem had previously stated, on the record, that the Department of Homeland Security was following all federal court orders. Then he laid out the evidence showing that DHS defied court injunctions in March and May, continued deportation flights after judges ordered them stopped, and misled the public about Americans being detained by immigration agents. That is not a policy disagreement. That is a direct conflict between sworn testimony and reality. Noem's response told us everything. Instead of addressing the specific violations, she retreated into talking points about activist judges, Supreme Court win rates, and abstract claims of compliance, none of which answered the central question: why did DHS continue actions federal courts explicitly ordered it to halt? When pressed on documented cases of U.S. citizens being detained, over 170 known incidents this year alone, she tried to redefine detention itself, claiming Americans were merely held until verified. That distinction is meaningless to the people thrown into custody, pepper-sprayed, handcuffed, or jailed without cause. Rights delayed are rights denied. And then came the moment that crystallized everything. When Thanedar said he was sick of the lies, Noem didn't deny them with evidence. She reframed the accusation as praise. That's not confidence, that's evasion. That's what happens when accountability meets an administration that believes repetition can replace truth. This exchange exposes something deeper and more dangerous: a normalization of contempt for judicial authority. When executive officials treat court orders as optional, when they dismiss judges as activists, when they boast about power instead of explaining conduct, that is not strength. That is authoritarian drift. The rule of law only works if those in power are bound by it, especially when it's inconvenient. Democrats are doing what oversight is supposed to do: put facts on the record, confront deception directly, and refuse to let power rewrite reality. This isn't about partisan outrage. It's about whether sworn testimony still means anything in America, and whether the Constitution applies to everyone, even cabinet secretaries.